good morning, everyone. Um, Back again for 3 minutes with God. As we are looking at, still looking at Psalm 105, verse number 5. So let's go ahead and start the timer. Psalm 105, verse number 5 says, "Remember his marvelous works, which he has done." And remember, this says, "Remember his marvelous works, which he has done, and his wonders and the judgments of his mouth." This psalm was written for those who are downhearted or disheartened, discouraged, about God's faithfulness to Israel. And not only is it God's faithfulness to Israel, but it's God's faithfulness to us also. So whenever we get down, whenever I guess you can say something doesn't go our way, whenever it seems like the deck is stacked up against us, whenever it seems as if the enemy is just on our trail and he won't let up, that remember, as the psalmist says, remember his marvelous works which he has done. Just remember what God has already done for you. And for some, that will spark their own praise party, and we don't need a 5-piece band. We don't need a melodious choir. When we begin just to think on what God has already done for us, that I can praise him all by myself just by thinking on what he has done for me already. And that's what the psalmist is saying, that no matter what the issue or the situation or the circumstance, it doesn't matter, because when we think back on who God is, when we think back on what he has already done, that should give us the confidence to trust him even more. Because when you look back and you think back on how you were already in situations and having issues, and to think that the prior things that you had dealt with seemed like the worst thing in the world, but somehow, some way you made it through, and you were on the other side of it, looking back at it now. And it's one of those things that's what one of the things the psalmist is saying, is to remember his marvelous works which he has done. And if you, real quickly, one thing, it says, remember his marvelous works which he has done, which is all past tense. So it's one of those things that's to think back on in the past. And so when you look at the past, it should give you hope for the future. It says his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. That the judgments of his mouth is the judgments for those who are disobedient to his holy word. And so it's one of those things, as we should be able to look back at what God has already said for us to do and not to do. And based on what he has said will happen if we are disobedient, then that should even also spark us to be obedient, to praise him ever the more. So if I will leave you with one thing, it's this: doesn't matter what today brings, doesn't matter what you may face or go through, just remember who your God is and his marvelous works. So God bless you and have a great day.